have a good winter, or don't do it and risk getting sick and possibly even ending up in the... What do you guys think about that one? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. But the question is, what does this mean for our stimulus prospects? I would say a lot. That means we need stimulus ASAP. Now let's remember what Biden has said back during the third stimulus check in December.
Will your plan include a new round of stimulus checks to the American people? And if
Yes.
so, for how much?
Well, look, that's a negotiating issue, but it will. Yes, it will. And I think, by the way, I think we owe Bernie Sanders and his Republican colleagues thanks for getting not all the stimulus we looked for, 1,200, but getting 600 done. So I think you're seeing that there is a clear understanding that these issues go beyond any ideology. People are desperately hurting, and the Republicans are hurting as badly as Democrats.
Disclaimer, guys, this was from December 2020, and President Biden was talking about the third stimulus check. Just wanted to be very clear about that one. But it's interesting how he says that people are desperately hurting, and the Republicans are hurting as badly as the Democrats are. Doesn't that sound like what's happening right now? One example, our latest reports show that jobless claims up 2 weeks in a row now. Like what one economist said, Delta is reducing consumer demand and threatening the reopening. Ultimately, it's just a harsh reminder that it has control over our destiny. And let's not forget Biden saying a weak jobs report makes clear need for more stimulus. And he said with the weak jobs report back in April, we can't let up. This jobs report makes that clear. We've got too much work to do. We have to build back better. Other data doesn't paint a very pretty picture either. 17% decline in income in households who are experiencing food insecurity or housing insecurity during the second quarter of 2021. They're talking households who don't have enough money for housing or for food, so they're least able to absorb a huge decline in their income. 9% decline in consumer spending in the second quarter compared to the first quarter. 9.4% drop in personal savings rate in the second quarter of 2021. People are basically using up their savings just to keep afloat here. Now, like the report said, despite the economy reopening post-lockdowns, most households' income remains flat. Savings are stagnant and spending declines slightly for most categories. Overall, the reinforced financial health inequities for low-income households and for those experiencing hardships and could forecast further diversions in the latter half of the year. I hope our lawmakers are listening here because it's pretty plain to see that it's far from over and another stimulus check is definitely not a bad idea. Am I right, guys? Now let's see if they included last minute in the three major pieces of spending legislature that they have on the slate this coming week. Now, according to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, this week we must pass a continuing resolution, Build Back Better Act, aka the $3.5 trillion stimulus package, and the BIF, or Bipartisan Infrastructure Deal. They already got a head start with the $3.5 trillion stimulus package this weekend. The House Budget Committee just advanced it with all of the stimulus provisions included. House Budget Committee Chairman John Yarmuth, he called out popular party-backed items in the massive package, including its investments in childcare, healthcare, higher education, universal pre-K, and housing that he said will lower costs and expand opportunities for working families. So we will definitely see some developments here in the coming update. I definitely recommend subscribing to the channel, hitting the notification bell, that way you don't miss out on anything, any major news that's coming our way. And just to remind you guys, progressives are not messing around here. Progressive Caucus Chair Representative Pramila Jayapal, she made the media rounds this week to warn moderate Democrats that nearly 50 members of their Progressive Caucus will not vote on the bipartisan infrastructure bill unless they approve the $3.5 trillion reconciliation bill first. Now, to quote her, we have to deliver on the entirety of the president's agenda. We have to deliver on childcare. We have to deliver on paid leave. We have to make sure people can go to free community college. We need to make sure that we're taking out climate change. We've got to address housing and immigration and Medicare expansion. These are critical priorities for the American people, and if we wait, then it's kids, it's working class families, it's people across the country that voted us in because they knew that this is what we had promised, and now we've got to deliver. Now this reminds me of what Senator Budget Chair Senator Bernie Sanders has been saying all along.
Look, everybody, if there's anybody in America who thinks that it's a good idea that literally multi-billionaires in a given year do not pay a nickel in federal income tax, I'd like to hear from them. Or they think it's okay that large profitable corporations making billions of dollars a year in profit don't pay anything in taxes. So I think what we need is a progressive tax system that says to the wealthy and large corporations are going to pay their fair share. Then we're going to invest in our roads and bridges. We're going to invest in transforming our energy system. We're going to invest, for example, in expanding Medicare. Right now, unbelievably, you got Medicare not covering dental care, vision, hearing aids, and we've got to do that as well. So all that I'm saying, and I think the American people agree, After years and years of worrying about billionaires and the rich, now it's time to have a budget that speaks to the needs of working families and the climate crisis that we face. That's what I'm trying to do.
He and 11 Democratic senators issued a statement this week in support of the $3.5 trillion stimulus package before the bipartisan infrastructure bill, and it said Congress has the opportunity to pass the most consequential economic legislation since the New Deal. We can create millions of good-paying jobs as we repair our crumbling infrastructure, address the climate crisis, and finally confront the long-neglected crises facing millions of low-income and working-class families across the country. But we can accomplish those goals only if we stick to our original agreement. The House of Representatives should wait to pass the bipartisan infrastructure bill until the budget reconciliation bill, which enacts the rest of President's Build Back Better agenda, is sent to the President's desk. We need that stimulus big time. Oh, and did you guys catch our previous video on Sanders' $1,000 debit cards for seniors? Definitely a must watch after this one. You can also check it out through our playlist section right after this video. But of course, we're going to hit some speed bumps along the way here. That's to be expected. Already, one House Democrat in the Budget Committee voted against advancing his party's $3.5 trillion social spending plan. Now, we got a new name for you. This was actually Representative Scott Peters from California. He said that he was concerned about the pace that the party is moving to draft this legislation, which he said would likely not be adopted in the Senate as the current text stands without major changes. Now, very similar to Senator Joe Manchin, who's doing his best to kind of pump the brakes on the whole thing here. Now, according to him, what's the need? There's no timeline. I want to understand it. I don't think anything runs out. Right now, we've got good nutrition for children. A lot of things are covered right now. Clear into next year. That's what he said. But I think our community has some pretty choice words to say to Joe Manchin asking for the need right now. Drop a quick comment down below and share what you would say to Joe Manchin if you were right in front of him at this very moment. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Is everything okay? Is there no urgency needed to pass anything for the American people? Now, as for me, I'd like to bring up what Senator Bernie Sanders had to say about Manchin and Sinema.
Andrea, I'm tired of talking about Mr. Manchin and Ms. Sinema. We have got to do what we can to bring people together. The American people, I think all over this country, understand that now is the time to act. And I will also tell you, clearly we are constrained by the fact that we only have 50 Democrats. And to my mind, what this next is going to be about is whether the American people want us to have a government that represents all people, that believes in democracy or not. And we need a hell of a lot more Democrats in the Senate than we have right now.
Same here, guys. Though I know it's necessary, I'm pretty tired of talking about Manchin slowing us down. I'm pretty sure you guys are tired of me mentioning the man's name. I mean, come on. Just look at the recent poll from voters in key states on that $3.5 trillion bill. It clearly states a majority of voters across 13 states support the Democrats' $3.5 trillion social spending plan. We're talking about 10 battleground states. You got Arizona, Florida, Georgia, Michigan, North Carolina, New Hampshire, Nevada, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and don't forget about Wisconsin. Not to mention Republican-leading West Virginia and Democratic-leaning Virginia and Minnesota. 54% of those states and other battleground districts supported the plan compared to the 43% who opposed it. The survey also found that 58% of independent respondents supported the proposal while 37% opposed it. Voters interviewed for the poll were also asked about their support for a provision in the package that would allow the government to negotiate lower drug prices. 65% of those who were polled said that the component makes them more likely to support the Democrats' spending plan. 54% of respondents also voiced support for language in the package that seeks to expand Medicare benefits compared to the 34% who opposed it. That's 2,000 registered votes polled right there. That's not even counting the almost 3 million signatures that we've been monitoring for recurring stimulus checks. What more proof do we need here, right? Mark my words, guys. We're gonna see some big things coming soon. Now, speaking of, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is plowing ahead with their plan to break the Democratic standoff. Pelosi said on Friday that she will indeed bring up the infrastructure package as promised. It will come up on Monday. According to President Biden, this is a process and it's going to be up and down. But he also added, every element of my economic plan is overwhelmingly popular, he repeated. Yeah, I think we can pretty much agree with that here on our stimulus channel. He also emphasized the new spending in the reconciliation bill would be fully paid for. We're going to pay for everything we spend, he added, adding, every time I hear this is going to cost A, B, C, or D, the truth is, based on the commitment that I made, it's going to cost nothing because we're going to raise the revenue to pay for the things we're talking about. Just this week, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer announced an agreement on a framework to pay for the final spending package. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said that the framework is a menu of revenue raisers that will pay for the spending agreement. She also said there is broad unity on the importance of lowering costs for Americans. She said this on an array of issues including childcare, elder care, universal kindergarten, and the cost of college. Senate Finance Committee Chairman Ron Wyden said that he was in meetings over the framework and he shared, "I went right to the heart of what we need in terms of tax fairness in America, and that's where we were this morning." Pelosi called it an agreement on how we can consider go forward in a way to pay for this. When asked about what it means for the two stimulus bills that we have on the table, Pelosi said, "We take it one day at a time. I am confident that we will pass both bills." So it's definitely going to be a very eventful week coming up, but we still have more in this video here. The defense bill that just passed the House, just stay right there. Congress is ramping up the stimulus timeline, and we are right there with them every step of the way. But not only that, we're also doing our part for the community with our channel exclusive newsletter. We give you guys the top 20 proof ways to earn extra income today that you can even do from home. Yes, you can work from home. So if you want to get ahead in the financial game, definitely check it out in the pinned comment down below and grab your free copy today, all for the Ron Yates community. And if you guys are getting any value out of what we're covering today, I would totally appreciate if you go ahead and tap that like button for the community. All right, so finale time. The House just passed a defense bill, and it includes a major marijuana banking reform bill. Now, this would allow state legal cannabis businesses to access the banking system and help improve public safety by reducing the amount of cash at these businesses. You see how they got sneaky with the words public safety there? That's how they were able to hook the marijuana banking reform bill in the more stable defense bill. Definitely the bulk of the U.S. population is in favor of legalizing marijuana, and dozens of states permit it for medical or recreational, of course. So it does look to be just a matter of time before there is a significant reform. Here's cannabis company Tilray CEO talking about it.
And last but not least is what you said, we got to make money for our shareholders. And how do we get return for shareholders? And I think one of the biggest things is the biggest percentage of our shareholders today are retail shareholders. How do we bring institutional shareholders in this that believe in cannabis and believe in the future of cannabis? Listen, I think that's a big important part. But what Tilray brings to the party today, it's legal in Canada, and Canada's a $9 billion market there. It's legal in multiple countries in Europe in regards to medical. We can sell into the U.S. and other products that are complementary to, cannabis. And with that, we'll, be a good-sized company.
Appreciate that. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm excited to see you guys on the next one. Till then, take care and be safe.